Hello. Our video for this week, and kind of last week too, was over conflict in relationships. One of the things that the host of the video used to really kind of demonstrate this was a beach ball. And he kind of showed that from his angle, he saw these three specific colors on the beach ball, but from our perspective, we saw these three other colors. And used that to show that sometimes we don't always see things from other people's perspective. He used four very specific questions when kind of navigating the conflicts within relationships. Number one was, what's going on with them? He used an example of a taxi driver, as he lives in Dublin, Ireland, he said, and he could tell that the guy was not looking his best, and he had kind of very much harshly judged him based on how he looks. And then he learned, after getting in the taxi and talking to him, that the man's child, I think he said son, had a brain hemorrhage and he had been in the hospital, and that was why he looks as disheveled and upset as he did. The second thing is what's important to them. A lot of the times when we argue something very strongly, it's because it holds importance to us, and we don't really think about that. Number three is, am I listening to understand or am I listening to defend? That's one in particular that I think I often struggle with a lot. And the fourth one is, have I clearly communicated my perspective? And so the first situation, a situation that I kind of immediately thought of as I'm kind of watching this video, would probably be with my boss at work. She is wonderful boss and a wonderful person, but she often tends to be very distracted. Very recently, we had a bit of a situation occur as essentially she kind of left me in charge of the classroom without really communicating that clearly to me. And one of the main questions he brought up that I would say I didn't really ever consider was the first one. I never considered what she was going through, what was going on with them. I learned later on that her daughter had moved out, and that her daughter was about 16, 17 years old and was living with friends, and that her mother had gone through a very serious illness. And I didn't know these things, and so I'm very harshly judging the situation and judging her and how she's acting at work without knowing the entirety of what she's going through. One of the two important principles from the book that I would say I really applied to the situation would be principle number 2, to show respect for the other person's opinions. I don't feel like I really did. I think I kind of harshly judged her and criticized her without really considering what she was going through or why she was acting the way she was. And principle number 3, admit when you're wrong and do it quickly and empathetically. I feel like that was one in particular that I really struggled with, because even when I was in the wrong, I don't feel like I kind of humbled myself enough to admit it as quickly as I should have, or to be as empathetic and understanding as I probably should be. And so I think those are two very important principles when navigating these difficult relationships.